Yes, this is the show I like to call Game Changer, a chance for me to jump into your safe. You send it to me, I have a look at it. I do not attempt to change everything about the way you play. I don't believe in changing people's styles of play. I like to offer options. I'm not here to critique your tactic. I'm here to give you an insight into what I might do if I were faced with a similar challenge. My name is Daljit. Welcome to Bustthenet. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification button to stay in touch for more videos like this. Basically, this is the save you sent me. It's from Randall, and he's managing Girona. Girona is he's doing quite well. In fact, he is doing very well with Girona. He's managed to get them promoted. The club is financially in a pretty. They're doing okay financially, right? I mean, you gotta understand where they came from, how they've done, and he's the club is expecting him to have a decent mid-table finish this year, and he's expected to do okay. Now, he's come to me with this tactic, and essentially what's happened is he's been playing all these games, and there's this span of time where things didn't go very well with for him. He played teams like Deportivo, La Coruña, and he struggled in this match, right, against teams like Deportivo, La Coruña, and they conceded an own goal. They managed to score a penalty, but even though they had the early start with the penalty, it wasn't enough because they came back putting, I think the final score was 3-2. So I was spending some time trying to figure out what was going on. Now, here you can see what's happening. One of the things that's happening, right? They play the ball over the top. There's very little protection down the flanks. Players are able to get crosses in behind the line and manage to score a few goals. I was when I looked at this tactic, I thought to myself, well, this shares some similar issues with tactics that are essentially narrow. When I say narrow, basically a tactic that is narrow is by the formation itself. We're not talking about your attacking width, right? We're talking about the formation. The 4-3-1-2 is narrow. The 4-4-2 diamond is narrow. These are formations that generally only have one option down the flanks. So whenever they play against these kind of systems, there's always going to be stress points, and the stress points are down the flanks. The moment your wingbacks need a lot of protection, right? So if they're not being protected, you always find yourself in situations where you might end up struggling. So he lost a few matches. He lost to Sevilla in the Copa del Rey, the third round. For this match against Osasuna, it's typical, right? These kind of systems are going to take advantage of your flanks. Now, if you can't shut the flanks down, you're going to give up easy goals. So, my worry for you is how do you defend those flanks? And I'm looking at your squad. Your squad has the teamwork and the work rate. The acceleration is pretty decent. Determination, well, okay. As far as defenders are concerned, maybe I'm not too worried. But if you're looking at the whole team in general, they're not doing too badly. Your average rating is pretty okay. I mean, there's some players who are not in form at the moment, like this player. His last 5 games, 6.78, 6.96, indicates this player is in a bit of a slump, right? Here we got players are playing, meeting standards, meeting expectations, basically, right? 6.93 is just meeting expectations for me. You want more of your players to be in the 7 region, right? So you only really have one player who's doing really well. And the moment I see is a defender, I start asking myself a question, right? So, uh, defenders doing well is good if you're winning, right? You want more players, and this player has been performing. He's having a really good season. But here we've got a player who's out of form. Okay. So when I went into the system, then the next thing I did was I looked at the system itself. Now, I looked at the system and I went, okay, there's certain areas I would like to improve in the system. But before I did that, I went to your training. Now, I was quite surprised. I mean, you sent me a note. Thank you for the note where you explained to me how you approach the game, and you basically like to leave a lot of things to the ass man. Now, what I don't like is leaving training to the ass man. I mean, I know it can work, but let me explain why. You've got a match against Eba coming, but your ass man has decided in all his infinite wisdom that he wants your players to go to push themselves hard in physical training sessions. Okay, it can still work, but why aren't you preparing for the game? Now, when it comes to the game itself, I am of the opinion that people should prepare for matches, which means use match preparation activities. So the easiest way for you to do anything like this is, if you want to maintain this, maybe remove one resistance here and go match preparation, attacking movement, take control of this one, or create something really simple. And I've made one that's pretty easy to use for most people. Just overall outfield, and then you have your, you can use this every week: teamwork, defensive shape, attacking movement, and you can have attacking free kicks, attacking corners, defending corners, and maybe defending free kicks. And ultimately, you could also do something like penalties, and you can remove this, and then you can go into this, and you can do set pieces. Let's work on penalties, and then you can remove this and go set pieces. Let's work on set piece delivery. Done. The simplest way of preparing for matches. And if you are faced with a week where you have double matches, all you do is make sure that as many of these slots are covered, right? So you use teamwork, defensive shape, attacking movement, match preview, and all of these, and go with the flow. Make it easy for yourself, because this could be a really easy way for you to play the game without micromanaging training as much. See, so you don't have to go in there, and you don't have to do much by way of training. Just use these schedules, and it's going to be a lot more easier for you. This is like a balanced training schedule that, gives you the upcoming match bonuses, because these are match bonuses. Don't you want match bonuses in your game? These are little boosts to your performance at the start of your game, right? And you'll notice that when your training report comes in and they say, okay, fine, we've got improvements in teamwork, improvements in passing, improvements in marking, and this is leading up to some of your matches. And this can be very, very important if you're on a bad run. As part of this exercise, I normally do Gamechanger, where it's a summary of what I've done, and another show which I call In the Hot Seat, where I actually sit down and play the game. So this is well past the fact. But before I show you the results of the game, let's now take a look at the tactic. All right. Have you noticed I haven't really gone to your players? Because you've done a really good job in identifying really good upcoming players. If I'm looking at your team, most of your players are half decent. This is a pretty decent player. I mean, he's off the ball in position, could be better. His positioning might be a bit better, but notice the role you used him for, Mazala. Now, he can play as a Mazala. However, his off the ball in position is still a bit weak. He's on a dip in form. Okay. There's going to be a lot of pressure here. Is his work rate high enough? Is his acceleration high enough? Is his stamina high enough? Does he do enough tackling here? We got another player here. He's doing really well in training. Yandro Orellana, he's on loan to you from Barcelona. He's playing. I'm impressed. His tackling is only 12. Now, notice how both these players are either 12 or 11. They're not fantastic. They're just okay. They're just average. All right. So his bravery is borderline 11. Okay. He's off the ball. He's only 11. So he's not really gonna bring that much to you in terms of the attack. He might be even. There may even be cases where you might not even be able to find him. Okay. I would prefer that he has better off the ball. Now, he does have the killer eye for the pass, but that's a trait. It works with any role. So you don't have to play him in Mazala just for him to play a killer ball. He could be a CM on support and he still play the killer ball. So then up top we got Nils. He's an advanced forward. His acceleration is 15. His composure and finishing is 14. He gets away. Yeah, fine. His stamina is 10. He's a player you want to develop, right? But he's going to run out of gas very fast. His passing is so-so. His vision is so-so. He's got absolutely... He's like a horse with blinders, right? He sees the goal, he goes for the goal. He might not play others in, but that's usually okay with advanced forwards. This guy is Lucas Nemcha or Mecha, but he's not too bad. He's got decent jumping reach. Yeah, he's an average target man. He probably won't win all the crosses in the box, but it's not a bad idea to have a target man in a setup which is essentially played to be counter-attacking. Now, this is the interesting thing. When I look at this tactic, I'm thinking to myself, yeah, you want it to be counter-attacking, but when you create a counter-attacking tactic, or you're trying to create a system that seeks to control the pitch in some way or other, then right up here you got an attacking playmaker whose only support is going to be one of these players. Now, these players aren't going to move up too close to him to support him, and you're hoping that these guys come up with support, which means that while it might be a nice idea to have a playmaker, you're not a team that is sitting at the top of the pyramid, okay, looking down at the rest of the world and going, try and beat us. No, you're trying to beat the teams above you. So this is not a good idea, because most teams are going to have a very good defensive midfielder who can take care of your Ricky. Now, Ricky's off the ball is only 13. His work rate is only 9. Playing him as an attacking playmaker may not be it's probably not a good idea. So, I'm more likely to play him as maybe an AM on support or maybe an Engage on support. But that's not really the thing that it's not really a thing I was concerned with your attack, is these two roles. Mazzalas are creative players, but what you really need is protection. You need protection down the flanks, even though you've given them close down more. If this will be fine if you had a flat tree in midfield, then these guys are closer to the flanks and can do the work. But you want structure in your attack. You want to be able to hit the balls over the top for your counters. So here, I don't think this is a good idea. You're probably better off playing a Carrello and Carrello. Now, once we play Carrellos here, then you can also play with an attacking midfielder in his pocket. And then this role, a complete forward. The question is, he's going to be roaming. At this point in time, you're trying to punch above your weight. Me, personally speaking, he's semi-decent as a target man. I'm more likely to use him as a target man and put him on a tank. Because then I got these two boys working together on counter attacks, which can be quite brilliant. And all these players do is try and look for them. Now, this is going to be the interesting thing. How do you get these two players to look for these two players? What you do is, one of the easiest ways to do in the game is to turn this guy into a target man. Sometimes you can even turn this guy into a poacher, but this would be a good option, a target man. The second thing you want to be doing is, you want to tell these guys to turn on their intercontinental ballistic missiles. I like to say that. Essentially just means, instead of telling you to take fewer risks, no, son, don't take fewer risks, take even more risks, go direct. So what he does is he plays the ball around the defense, goes this way. Plays the ball around the defense, goes this way. They don't always put pressure on your DLP to have a good game. Because in this kind of a setup, you're putting so much pressure on your DLP. Your DLP absolutely has to have good games. And he doesn't have good games. You're going to have a bad day in the office. Now, he's been playing quite well. This might bypass the DLP occasionally, but it still gives you a chance to use the DLP to release passes over the top when you have counter-attacking options on your hand. So here, I would definitely go with that option. Now, finally, it's this underlap instruction. Well, I'm not a big fan of the underlap, right? Not like this. It's not going to work, right? Because they're not going to really underlap. So what I would really recommend, and this is the best thing your tactic can do, is change this role, maybe change this role, but ask the two of them to run wide with the ball. When they run wide with the ball, if the ball comes this way, he's going to go this way. What do you think happens after that? These two get into the box. So what you now have is this guy playing the pass, he can get up the pitch. He might be able to keep dropping crosses for you, but this occasionally on the counter attack, this guy's going to run wide with the ball, giving you the option for rapid counter attacks in some of your matches. So, and the other thing here is that the choice of shorter passing and standard tempo. I'm not a big fan of this either. FM20 seems to prefer higher tempo for most tactics. Every single tactic that you thought was on a certain tempo in FM19, well, just take all those tactics that worked for you in 19, and you play them on 20, increase the tempo by 1 notch. So here I'm more likely to play on a higher tempo, and I'll probably play it on direct passing. Now, work ball into box is really a very dangerous system, a dangerous team instruction for a team that's very average. You want to be using hit early crosses. Hit early crosses is much more safer. Yes, I know it could be risky if the ball doesn't make it to the player, but hey, what if you turn this into a target man? Told these two guys to cross him target man. That's all they're going to do. They're going to look for the target man, and that's the beautiful thing about playing a system like this. I probably change this sweeper keeper to support too, so that the ball playing defender, these three players could occasionally look for the target man too. If you're faced with a team that wants to do a high press, they might pass the ball between themselves, and then if the opportunity presents itself, they go one over the top, and you might have a beautiful counter-attacking goal on your hands. So I probably remove these two instructions as well. Now, so what did I do, right? So I'm not going to say what I did in the match. What I'm going to share with you now are the results of our little adventure. So how did we do? We took over the save after the match against Real Sociedad. We played against Sevilla, and it was a pretty interesting match. As you can see, Girona had 2 clear-cut chances. Let's take a look at some of these goals. Our first goal really started with our keeper. Now you can look at the positioning we're taking up. Our wingbacks aren't too far away. Our Carreros are in the middle, and the ball goes straight for the AM on support. He brings the ball forward, plays a brilliant ball out to Nils. Nils drops in the cross, which is why we have stay wide on that player. Okay, and our wingback on attack comes into the box and scores an easy goal. For our second goal, we were defending. Right now, look at the setup of our defense. This is 4. This guy is marking this guy. This guy is marking this guy, and we haven't started certain OIs yet. We started slowly introducing them into the third game. This is our counter attack. Aurelena brings a counter away, and we score the second goal. And this turned out to be enough for the match. Even though they managed to score one more, we won the match at the end with a score of 2-1. Our second match was a defensive display. I OI'd 8, 18, 24, and 15. Basically, the wingers and the fullbacks, all of them being told, all of them had hard tackling on, and the wingbacks, we added more pressing intensity to them, and well, we FM'd this game basically. One attack and one rocket from outside the box was enough for 3 points. But hell, man, we're going to take everything we can in this game. So this match was a simple 1-0 win, but a solid defensive display. Then our next game was against Celta Vigo. Celta Vigo, again, we did the same thing, marshalling the flanks with OIs on pressing intensity and hard tackling, and we did okay. Again, I was pretty happy with our performance. We defended really well for the better part of the match. Even though Celta Vigo was doing most of the attacking, we were in a really strong position. We scored the first goal pretty easily, and then our second goal, again, I think they couldn't clear this. Was where the split block really worked wonders for us, giving us a 2-0 lead before they managed to score one goal, a consolation goal. Better than, I wasn't too bothered by then. We happy. Then we came to the next game, which was really the match where everything came together. I prefer using this player in attack because something about him just makes me excited. His dribbling is 16, his acceleration is 15, his finishing is 15, his composure is 13. There's something about this boy. And in this match, I was very excited because when he breaks away with the ball, I get excited because he runs wide with the ball. He does everything I ask him to do. We scored the opening goal from a corner, right? They leveled the match not too long after, right? And then it was all these kind of attack patterns. They attack us and we get this brilliant counter attack. So one counter attack. And then we had a corner. We scored another goal from a corner. And they attacked us down the flanks. We tried our best to marshal. Sometimes you can't marshal everything from the flanks, right? So we did our best. And then another counter attack right onto the advance forward. He beats the keep. He latches onto the pass and then does it. And this was a beautiful move from Mpembele Bula, giving us our 5th goal of the match. So I was extremely ecstatic when this happened. So they played pretty well. Girona beating Levante 5-2. Okay, so what did we use for a tactic? So this was the tactic. Played on balance, and these were your instructions. We decided to use something else. We had an advanced forward, a target man on attack, NAM on support, 2 Carreros, a DLP, and 2 wingbacks on attack with a sweeper keeper on support. These 2 guys have got stay wider, close down more, and mark specific position. The left guy marks the wingback on the right, and the right guy marks the wingback on the left or the fullback on the left. The whole team plays the opposition instructions, pretty standard opposition instructions when you meet teams. Tackling on the fullbacks, maybe, yes, you want to add pressing, more intensity as well. If they come up the pitch, you definitely want to be pressing them always and hard tackling them. And then we've got any wide player, you want to hard tackle them. All right, so and then with the other areas of the tactic, DLP doesn't do any PIs. Then we've got the wingbacks, the ICBM fullbacks, I like to call them. More direct, take more risk, and cross same target, man. Yes. We just want you to ping the ball forward. Okay, that's all. Distribute quickly. Most of the teams that are attacking you, We do not want to take our own sweet time to build attacks, right? So if they're attacking and the goalkeeper has the ball, I want him to release the ball quickly so we can launch the counter. Then we've got a standard defensive line, standard line of engagement, high defensive line. So we soak them in and we hit them hard, right? So with the high with defensive, so we're always tackling the flanks, protecting the flanks. Now sometimes crosses are going to get in. This is just the nature of the game because of your formation. In terms of PIs, we only go with focus, play down the middle, no overlaps. We use in this tactic. Then in most cases, what I will do is I'll play on. You can play on standard or lower tempo, but I prefer playing this tactic on direct and higher tempo. In generally, this is how I start with most of my matches. And then we've got distribute quickly, and then we've got defend wider, higher defensive line, and use offside trap. No prevent shot goalkeeper use distribution instructions should be used with this system. It's a bit fun and it's more structured, and it's going to be better for counter attacking. Especially when most of these sides are going to give you space, which is why the AF will shine. And when told to stay wider, he's gonna give you that width that you're lacking in the tactic, especially in counter attacks. Well, I hope you enjoyed this edition of Gamechanger and they found it useful. It's a fun system to use. The only difference here is how I use opposition instructions and how I use certain roles to, go wider out to the flanks to give us the width that was missing in the system to begin with. And we also use roles in midfield to protect the system a bit more. And I hope you found it useful. We didn't change your tactic too much, and I didn't want to change the flavor of your tactic too much. I would recommend, however, that before you go into any of these matches, if you want to leave training to the S-Man, just make sure you add match preparation activities for every single game so that you can get the best out of your team. I look forward to any feedback that you might have on our Discord channel. Once again, I want to thank everybody for the continued support of our channel. All new gen faces have been made by Chill Moose. I want to give her a shout out. She does fantastic work with the new gen faces, and I am using them in my game, and I'm happy. So you guys, once again, thanks for your support. You guys take care. Have a good one. I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.